Let's break it down. Right now, something very interesting is happening in Europe. Energy prices are rising again. But this time the story is different because while some countries are struggling, others are actually protected. And the reason comes down to one word: energy strategy. Now, here's the situation: the ongoing Iran war has disrupted global oil and gas flows. This is not just a regional issue, it's a global energy shock. Around 20% of the world's oil and gas supply passes through key routes like the Strait of Hormuz. When that gets disrupted, the impact spreads everywhere, and Europe is now feeling that impact. Energy prices, especially electricity and gas, are rising sharply. Countries like Italy and Germany, which rely heavily on gas imports, are seeing major increases. But here's where things get interesting. Not all countries are suffering equally. Some countries like Spain and Albania are handling the situation much better. Why? Because they rely more on renewable energy. Albania generates over 90% of its electricity from hydropower. Spain produces a large share from wind and solar. So when fossil fuel prices go up, their systems are less effective. This creates a very clear contrast. Gas-dependent countries equal sign vulnerable, renewable-heavy countries equal sign more stable, and this is exactly why renewable energy is suddenly back in focus. But this is not just about electricity prices. This is about something much bigger: energy security. Europe has already experienced one energy crisis in recent years. Now this conflict is pushing it toward another one. The cost is massive: higher import bills, higher inflation, higher pressure on businesses and households. Many European countries depend on imports for over 80–90% of their oil and gas, and that dependency is now becoming a weakness. But renewables are not perfect either. There is something called the duck curve. Solar energy is high during the day but drops in the evening when demand is highest. So even renewable systems still need backup solutions. This could be battery storage, flexible grids, or nuclear energy. That's why countries like France, with strong nuclear power, are also relatively stable. Now, here is another important shift. Because of rising fuel prices, people across Europe are changing behavior. Demand for rooftop solar is rising. Electric vehicle adoption is increasing. Even biofuels are making a comeback. This is not temporary. This is a structural shift. People are realizing something important. Energy independence matters. Now governments are stepping in. The European Union is considering measures like reducing electricity taxes, improving gas storage coordination, and accelerating renewable investments. But these solutions come with trade-offs. Lower taxes impact government budgets. Energy transition requires massive long-term investment. So where does this go from here? Three things are clear. First, renewables will accelerate, not just for climate, but for stability. Second, energy diversification will become critical. Countries will avoid relying on a single source or region. Third, energy prices will remain volatile because geopolitical risks are not going away anytime soon. Now let's bring this all together. What we are witnessing is not just an energy crisis, it is a shift in global thinking, from cheap energy to secure energy, from dependence to independence, from short-term fixes to long-term strategy, and Europe is right at the center of this transformation. Because this time, the crisis is not just exposing weaknesses, it is also showing what works. I'm Imran, a Middle East-based analyst, and this is why understanding global energy trends matters. Because what happens in one region can reshape the entire world.